What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys have had an awesome week. I know that last week I did not upload, but I wanted to share with you a little bit as to why. It's just been a little bit tough in our household with everything that's been going on, from COVID-19 to going back to work, and now to the loss of more lives, and just an unprecedented amount of police brutality. I want to start this video off by saying that I am not a person that doesn't believe that we don't need law enforcement, okay? That is something that I truly believe helps to protect our neighborhoods, protect our cities, our states. But right now, that's really not the issue. The issue is that it's gotten out of hand. And I don't want to get too much into that. I just wanted to talk to you guys mainly about how it has affected me personally, and hopefully with my sharing this, it can bring a little bit of light to someone else. So I'm going to rewind back just a little bit, probably about a year actually, to when I first saw the film, the series of When They See Us. The day that I watched that, I literally watched it in a 24-hour span. But the day that I watched it was really, really, really hard for me. I could not imagine sending my son out into the world, telling him to have a good time, telling him that he's worked so hard that he deserves to have a break, and that being the last time that I see my son. And when I saw that docuseries, I just wept. I'm really trying not to cry right now, which is also part of the reason that I did not wear makeup, because I knew I would have to keep it together, and in case I didn't, I wanted to be prepared. But literally, the day that I watched that series, I put a plan in place. I sat down with my husband and was like, so this is what we're going to do for Daniel. Not when he turns 16, but now. And that is the harsh reality of being of color in this country. And not only that, having a son that is a brown-skinned boy, a beautiful brown-skinned boy, and realizing that his life, the way that I've seen it, could possibly have so many other things that affect it. And so yes, with that docuseries, with watching that, it really heightened my mommy gears, I guess to say, of just putting a plan into place to make sure that my son is as protected as he could possibly be. But the reality is that knowing that what I see is not what everyone else sees. My son is 9 years old, and so with that, part of what I struggled with on this past week is how to share with him everything that's been going on. We were fortunate in being aware. My husband works in news, and so he was like, hey, there's this special that they're doing on CNN talking about racism in this country, and maybe that's something that we could use to open the door of conversations. Because Daniel's a little bit older, it's easier to have these kind of discussions with him because he has a little bit of insight, and he's not, you know, just completely innocent, but he's innocent enough where, you know, you don't want to have him watch a video like the one that kind of put everything into a tailspin in our country. So if you guys are interested in that, if you have kids that you're trying to figure out ways to have this conversation with your child, that is something that I greatly suggest. It multi-aged, so that helped a lot in having to have that conversation with him and making sure that it was on a level that he understood. And because it was, you know, a CNN special, it left a lot of room for us, if he had questions, to stop the series, be able to talk to him, or stop the show, excuse me, and talk to him about anything that he had questions about. And I think that was what I found to be so cool about it, was that it opened his mind to, okay, this is why mommy and daddy have been so sad. This is why we've seen all these people outside. This is why mommy and daddy have been making donations, and what can I do to help? And oddly enough, prior to us having this conversation with Daniel, we had an incident at my job with someone that I felt kind of took things out of hand, just had a negative reaction to something so small. And any other day, I feel like it would have been one of those things where I was just like, you know, she's just looking at them as kids. But with everything that's going on, it literally just brought back so many of the things that I dealt with being a person of color and living in the South when I was a child, that I never, ever, ever thought that we would still be dealing with. And I have to explain to my son, okay, this is what happened, this is how mommy fixed it, and this is what we'll try to do to never have it happen again. In a perfect world, I would love to be able to just snap my fingers and it all change. But the key right now is in preparing him for different versions of reality, different versions of what could happen, different versions of him going out into the world. So with that CNN special, it helped a ton. It helped an absolute ton. We were able to watch that, and then from that still be able to explain to him what happened on his level, where, you know, we don't want him to be scared, we don't want him to be afraid, and we want him to always be aware that there is someone in uniform that he could go to and ask for help, but to also be aware that he has to protect himself. So that was the big takeaway from the week, you know, just living in the reality of racism in this country and how we're going to combat it. It's been really cool getting to see him come up with all these ideas. I think one of the things that I love the most was that he was sitting there, and anyone that knows our son, he has like the greatest ambitions ever. And he was sitting there and he was like, Mom, I think I need to change what I want to be when I grow up. And because it kind of caught me off guard, I was like, what do you mean? And he said, I think I should be president instead. And when I asked him why, he said that maybe if he becomes president, then he can make the changes that other people are too afraid to make. And that just, it blew me away, not because, you know, it was something so profound, but because it's something so simple. And for him to be 9 and to say something so simple that seems so far away for so many adults that don't seem to catch that. And the reality is that it is a simple fix. It is just taking the time. If people would just take the time, we could make such a big difference. And this week, you know, seeing the protests, seeing the peaceful protests, seeing people come together has been so refreshing and so rewarding, and just lifting a little bit of the weight. Lifting a little bit of the weight. Even on my social media, I had to take a break, a little break. I wasn't posting a whole lot. I would share a lot of information that I thought was helpful, but that was pretty much the gist of it. Out of all of the people that I am friends with or associate with on social media, there have only been 2 negative incidents. And that made me feel really good about the people that I call family and friends. And one of those people I did have to remove. And I don't regret it, because it's better to know than not know. So I don't have a whole lot outside of this. This is just what I've been dealing with on this week. And one of the things that gave me a little bit of peace is I love music. You guys know that if you've been watching for any length of time. And Trey Songz is one of my favorite artists, and he put out a song called How Many Times, and it's such a powerful song. It is such an awesome song, and you guys really please check it out, listen to it. And at this time in our country, you know, do your best to be aware, do your best to be out there, be active, be supportive, to, you know, help come up with solutions. Don't create problems. you know, we want to fix this. It can be fixed. I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart. It can be fixed. So just take the time. Just take the time. If you're not a person of color, you know, you still have the opportunity to help. You have the opportunity to use your voice, because we need it. It's not enough for one person to stand in a sea of people screaming no and they're screaming yes. So be there, be aware, be helpful, and above all, love each other. You know, send that love out into the world, so that you can get a little bit back. All right, that's gonna do it for me before I start breaking down into tears again. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, please smash that button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified when I post again. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.